Let's decorate for Valentine's Day and make a garland, but not like the other garlands that you've been seeing. Okay, we don't need a heart punch. We don't need a sewing machine. You don't even need pink or red paper. And you don't need one of those super fancy cutting machines. You know why? Because you're the fancy cutting machine.
Karen makes stuff. Karen makes stuff. Oh, can't get enough. Karen makes stuff.
Hello, I'm Karen. I make stuff. Do you like to make stuff? Then we can make some stuff together. Let's go! Valentine's Day? It kind of sneaks up, doesn't it? And it seems like all the decorations are either really cheap, like, you're just going to throw them away on the 15th, or they're really expensive. You're like, I can't justify spending all of this money for this really short holiday. So we're going to make something fun because you want to be festive. We want to do something fun for the house, dorm, office, classroom, cubicle, break room, right? So here's what we're going to do. Start by getting some paper. Any paper. It could be, the computer paper. It could be notebook paper. It can be old textbooks. Just make sure if you are going to use a book, make sure it's a book that realistically nobody is ever going to read again. Like a statistics textbook from the 90s. No one's going to read that again. That's okay to rip up. Okay, this one's going to be messy, so cover your work surface. I just have a little craft paper here. You have like the paper grocery store bags. Oh, you know what's great to use? Christmas wrapping paper. You probably only have a little bit left on the roll, and it's just going to get knocked around for 11 months. So if you've only got a little bit left, roll it out, Santa side down, so you just have the white up, and that'll protect your surface. Now, I told you didn't need colored paper, right? But you're like, I want to make it fun and festive and red and pink. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to dye it. It's going to be cool. Trust me on this one. So, okay, get some containers that you can fill with water and dye. I've got these two. I've got another one. It's a little smaller. So we're going to use that one. You can use anything you want for the dye bath except plastic that you're going to reuse. You can cut a water jug in half. That's okay, but don't use like that good plastic bowl that you make salad in every day because it probably will stain. You can use glass, you can use metal. Don't use the bathtub. That could also stain. You can use a cookie sheet, the kind that has like the little, the little edge to it. And just be really careful that you don't move anything once you start the dye. Okay, this is going to be fun. We get some water. We're only going to pour a little bit in because we only need enough to cover like a sheet of paper. It'll help save on dye too. So now we're going to dye. What are you going to use to dye? Look around and see what you already have. You might be surprised. I know one thing you might already have. Hey, Kool-Aid! I have Tropical Punch Kool-Aid. Cherry is always great. Raspberry if you want it a little more purpley. Grape, whatever color you want to use. That's your Valentine's Day. This is always so magical when you put it in. As little as you want, as much as you want. And it's going to smell really good. Now, what else do you have? Do you have any food coloring? I do. I have some hot, hot pink food coloring. I'm going to put that in. Oh, I just love the way it looks when it hits the water. Do you have any Rit dye in the house? Great to keep around in your favorite color. Mine is obviously pink. Rit dye always looks really dark. That's not the color it's going to be. Put that in there. Ooh. Put a little bit. I'm not measuring. If you have powdered dye, that's great also. Just give it a little stir. Oops. Got a little on my table. Great idea also to have some paper towels handy. And if you're doing this with kids, of course, put them in old clothes or smocks. You know what's a great smock for kids? Men's dress shirts. Put them on backwards and button them in the back. I'm going to give these a little stir. This pink feels pretty light, but I'm not going to worry about it. I cut my paper down small enough to fit into my containers. Whatever size your container is the size you'll want yours, because you want to make sure the die is on all the paper at the same time, and you don't want it rolled over, crumpled up, touching each other. But from here, just have some fun. If you're having trouble, just make the water a little deeper. Slide mine in, try to get the... There's no wrong way to do it. Okay, this is wrong. This is the wrong way to do it. I'm going to add a little more water. There. It won't be as dark, but I have found that the food coloring, at least my food coloring, doesn't take to the paper as much as the other colors. Seems like a recurring theme. I'll just go ahead and add some here while I'm at it. And my last one. There we go. You want to check them quickly because you don't know how fast they're going to soak up the dye. So let's check the Kool-Aid one first. Oh my gosh. Now it's going to be lighter when it dries, right? Things that are wet always look darker. I'm going to get another sheet of paper and I'm just going to lay this across this other paper to soak up. Let's check the food coloring one. Oh, that behaved a lot better than my test one that I did. Let's put that on our dry paper. Don't touch each other. That one's a little lighter, but it's still really pretty. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be uniform. It just has to be fun. Okay. I love the way my colors turned out. And those weren't in there very long. You play around with it. Keep it in there for a moment. Keep it in there for a minute. Keep it in there for 3 minutes. Just, it's water. Pull it out before it dissolves. And these dye baths, they'll stay good for a really long time. You can even make it the night before. And there's enough dye in here for everybody in your group, your troop, your class to dye their paper. Let's try dipping some in just for a second to see what we get. I like it. You can have all different shades of hearts in your garland. Yeah, my fingers are going to be pink by the end of this one. This is messy. You can blot them with the paper towel when they first come out. Once they're in the water, don't try to flip them. Just push them down. Because if you try to flip it, it's going to curl over onto itself. Okay. Ooh, I like that. And these just came out lighter than the previous ones I did. Go back and make some really dark. You can always take another sheet of paper, put it over to help them dry. You can blot it with a paper towel. You can blow dry it. Be careful though. If there's any pools of dye on there, when you hit it with that blow dryer, it's going to go flying. And if you're holding the paper up, You could end up tearing it. You know, it doesn't really take that long for them to dry. Just, you know, go have a snack, and then we'll come back and make hearts. And when you go to pour these out, that's a grown-up's job. Be careful where you pour it too. If you put it in a bathtub, it could stain. If you run it down a sink with white porcelain that's porous, it could stain. Toilet, same thing. Run water over it after you dump the dye out. And grown-ups, you be careful too. Just because you're grown doesn't mean you can't spill stuff. It's dry. Well, dry enough. And some of them are a little wavy, so we need to iron these. Since we're ironing paper, let's keep the steam off of the iron. I mean, obviously it'll get the paper wet, but if the steam comes out, there's nowhere for it to go. You know, when you're ironing fabric, it just goes through the fabric, but on paper, there's nowhere for it to go. It's going to shoot out from the sides of the iron and it can burn your hand. So be careful. And of course, this is the part for the adults to do. It's going to be warm. Well, obviously it's going to be warm. So, you know, best to stack it. Maybe you like put a book over it. You can put them all together because at this point the dye isn't going to transfer from one to the other. I'm kind of digging the way my paper turned out. You can even do one out of this with the color that transferred onto the paper while it was drying. I kind of like that. I might save that one for another one. I love the way my papers turned out, especially the Kool-Aid one because it smells so good. I think for this project I am going to use those, and I'm going to save the other ones for a different project. What project? I don't know. I'll think of something. Hold on to the paper. So next we're going to cut out a heart. If you don't feel comfortable doing the method where you fold it over and cut, you can find one online. Just download it, print it out, and use that as your template. So let's make a heart. Ooh, that one's pretty good. I did this one on paper. I made some earlier that are on cardstock, a little heavier. This is great for tracing. Here's the trick on how we're going to keep the heart standing up nice and straight on the garland instead of flopping over from their own weight. We're going to take our groovy paper. We're going to fold it in half. We're going to take our heart and place it all the way to the top on that folded edge. Show you once more time. You're going to fold it. We're going to put the heart all the way up there. You know what? I'm actually going to go to one side a little bit so I have this extra paper here for a next project. And then we just trace. This is when it's good to have a heavier cardstock. But we're not tracing all the way up to these folds right here. We're going to keep those intact. That's pretty good. Now, when I cut, and make sure that they're both lined up, but make sure you don't cut through that fold. If you have some sharp little parts like that, you can just kind of go back and round them off so they're not so obvious. If you have pencil marks, you can turn it the other way or just go ahead and erase them. So now we have a heart that's connected at the top. Why is this important? I'll show you. What are you going to use to string your garland up with? What do you have already? You can use string. I have some string. I've got, oh, I have the fun little baker's twine. I don't know what this is. I think it might be kite string. It looks like it's from the 70s. Fishing line is my absolute favorite. If you buy one roll of monofilament, if you buy one of these, it'll last your entire life. If you're just crafting, if you're fishing, you know, your mileage may vary. Just make sure when you're finished with your fishing line, you tape that end down because it's very easy for it to get all tangled up. I'm going to do mine on the fishing line, but I'm going to show you on the string. Oh, I got an idea. There you go. So now, when you hang it, it's just going to go right over the string. And there you are. We're going to glue it, and it's going to stay. You can glue it with the line or leave just that last little bit right there without any glue on it, and it'll slide. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you could. For this project, I like to use glue sticks, the Elmer's washable school glue. These are the best. I'm not sponsored by Elmer's, but I like the purple so much because you can see where it's going. So get the edges. You do want to glue the middle down too. I'm going to leave a little bit right here unglued. And then stick it over the line. And there you go. Okay, now go do that about a million more times and you'll have your garland. So to figure out how many you'll need, measure your space and then add a little more because you know you want it to drape. And then let's measure across the widest part of the heart. Mine is like 3 3/4 inches. How big is that? That's about 9 centimeters. So just measure how long you want the garland to be and then divide it by the measurement of your heart, and that'll tell you how many you need to cut out. It's going to be a lot, but you don't have to make them this small. I only made them this size because the pan that I had to soak them in was only this big. If you use a cookie sheet, you can use giant paper. I love it, and I love that they're like right side up, not going this way, and they're not heavy. They're not top heavy, so they're not spinning on the line like this. I'm going to glue the rest of mine on. I love it. This one's short because it's just going on the bookcase behind me. And I put it on the fishing line. I kept them slidey because I might go back and make some smaller hearts and put them in between the big ones. I love it. Are you going to do it? I hope you do. Please show me what you make. You could put names on them, like everyone in your class, or your troop, or your office, or your restaurant, or your kids, or your pets. You can make it anything you want because it's art. It's not a craft. I just made mine. Go make yours. Make it awesome. Make it festive. I think this is fun. I hope you make it, and I really hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day. I can't wait to see what you make. And no, you can't just add sugar to the Kool-Aid one and drink it.
Karen makes stuff.